Okay. Watching that last night, it just emanated to me how much you guys are so connected, everybody in the cast.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a really good cast. I mean, everybody has a great contribution, both just talent-wise, but also just like in terms of flow of our beings as a cast, like everybody's just very supportive and I don't know, it just flows. I'm really, really happy. I'm excited about it.
I know, and then didn't realize that you guys were gonna surprise Cameron with a happy birthday, and then I hear Jonathan sing. I'm like, "Where have I been? I did not know that he sang."
I know. I've known he sang for a long time, but I actually don't think I had heard it until I saw, because they gave us the screener of the first three episodes. So then I saw
Mhm.
him sing on the show and I was like, oh, okay, Jonathan can sing. That's great. And then, yeah, I didn't know that they had written this song, Jillian and Jonathan, called Crossroads Springs. And I'm sitting there behind the scenes, not of the Facebook Live, but we did like another event next door that was like more interviews and stuff. And they start playing this song, and I'm like getting ready with Emily, like in the green room. And I hear this song, and it's like Crossroads Springs. And I'm like, wait a minute, we have like an official theme song. And I literally, like, there's a video of me just like behind the scenes coming around. And I was like, I get to Jillian and I see her see me recording, and I'm like, oh no, like I'm right in her eye line. Like, is this going to be distracting? And then later she was like, no, it was so good because I was like, okay, a distraction to like, just make me, lose it, whatever. She's such a pro. And I was like, I don't even know why you're saying that. You're like incredible. So she's amazing. And so is Jonathan. And I love that song. Like, I have it stuck in my head. So I'm so excited they wrote it.
It was funny because after the whole live, I found myself singing it, and my mom goes, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm singing the song, now it's in my head."
I know. It's so catchy. Everybody was singing it yesterday once they heard it. And I was just like, guys, this is really good. Yeah.
Well, I have to, or I should say I wanna get in because 'cause I'm really excited to get to know Maggie Johnson, but
Oh,
I wanna leave it to you and kind of you introduce us to her because it seems like there's so many different facets of her, that we're gonna be learning about.
yeah. No, Maggie's great. She's a lot of fun. She's very sweet. She's very caring. She likes to take care of people. And she likes to help people. And I feel like she's like a coffee shop therapist. Like people come to her, like Janet comes to her and asks for advice. James comes and it's not even that he's necessarily asking for advice, but he just kind of starts talking and she, gives him, advice or just talks them through some stuff. So I hope that that kind of continues, that she's just like the place that people can go to kind of just in the same way like sometimes people have that relationship with their bartender, where they go to the local watering hole and it's like the bartender from Cheers, has the words of wisdom or whatever. So I really hope that Maggie continues to kind of be that for the town because I like playing that role.
It's seeing a little bit of the previews, what they showed yesterday, for me, I was like, I almost found myself going kind of like you and Maggie just like intertwining. Maggie's you and you are Maggie.
I do feel very connected to Maggie. I mean, I worked at a bar restaurant for like 7 years, and I really, really loved that. And I did feel more of like a host when people would come in, and I would be like, "Oh, what do you like? What are the things you normally eat? Let me help you navigate the menu." Or, I think you'd really like this. I'm just gonna get it for you. If you don't like it, it's on me. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I always loved to play host even when I would have parties. Like I just wanted to make sure everybody had an hors d'oeuvre or was good on drinks or yeah, I just like to make sure everybody's okay. So Maggie's the fun character for me.
And I love it. I love it that they have you in like a cafe setting because
Yeah.
it's like, it seems like it's so fitting, but yet learning just a little bit more from seeing what we saw last night and what's been online, it's like every kudos to the writers and the creators of the show because I feel like every character, including Maggie, all
Mhm.
we've been in Maggie's shoes. We can relate to Maggie.
Totally, and even with, like, the coming home aspect, I did come home for a little bit after I moved away, and, like, that time period is just such a special time period because, it almost feels like a time capsule in some ways when you go home, like, some things really haven't changed, and then some things do, and so it's like that second chapter where you get to relive certain things and the comfort of that, but also it's exciting because it is still different. So I really like that they both come back to town around the same time and they've both grown in different ways based off of the experiences that they've had individually. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops as the show goes on.
And I can't wait to see because I thought I heard it correctly, but then last night when they clarified that, Maggie and James are gonna be connected and ultimately love interest, it was like for me, it was like, "Okay, Jonathan and Brittany, they've done this before, so that this is gonna be an ace for the both of them." You know?
Yeah, it's really fun for us because the good thing and the different thing about this one for Jonathan and I is these characters do have a history. They already know each other because Jonathan and I have to play this like meet cute over and over again of like, oh, I've never laid eyes on you before, even though we've like constantly been meeting on these movies. So the fact that we get to do something where we get to play that we have history is really fun for us because it's just so natural for us to just be like, yeah, we're here. We already, have this history that we don't have to try and find. It's already there.
I have to say, because, thinking about that, because that's ultimately what I thought. I was like, okay, Maggie has a history with James,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to see how that pans out, how
Yeah.
they get the story to unfold,
Mhm.
but for you, at this, I would say, like, next level character, how was it for you to ultimately emulate her and bring her to life? Because it just seems like it was next level, she's
Oh,
next level.
thank you. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of really easy, I think. The whole hospitality aspect is easy to kind of tap into because I have that just from my life experience, but also I've played a waitress before. So like I actually played a waitress first and then I was like, that was really fun. Maybe I'll be one in real life. And so like that aspect is easy. And then just like with Jonathan, it just was easy and flowed because we already have that. So it didn't really feel like something that we needed to like really kind of chisel away at in our prep. It was kind of just more about like, okay, what do these characters stand for? And what is the history. And I think we're going to find out more as we go what the exact history was. So we're kind of playing, the basics of what their history is. But I feel like as we will unfold, we'll be able to discover exactly like, did they fully date or was it just like they had crushes on each other and never really said anything? So I'm excited to see where that goes as we like peel back the onion to their history.
I have to say, did you know in the beginning when you first got the script that you and Jonathan were gonna be playing love interest?
I did. I did. When I got the call from my agent, he was like, "Are you ready to go be on?" Because I knew Jonathan was on the show. Him and I, he did my headshots recently. And while he was doing my headshots, he was talking about this show. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Congratulations. I was like so stoked for him. And I wasn't any part of any conversation of being his love interest because they were going to hire local Canada. And then when they didn't, they were like, oh, let's just get Brittany because they already have a history and they work. And I was like, oh, okay, great. So I knew that that was part of the deal when I came on. Um, so that was really fun. And like we said in the Facebook Live yesterday, we really tried to keep it a secret and somebody spilled the beans because I was really hoping to get that moment like live of like me showing up and him just being the whole time like, why isn't their name on the call sheet? Like, who is playing my love interest? Like, I really just wanted him to be so lost. And it was Bill Abbott's idea. Bill was like, let's not tell him. Let's like make it a surprise. And I was like, I love this. Bill is so fun. Bill loves to kind of, make the most out of moments like that. And he's been so supportive and just like very encouraging and very complimentary, which is just really nice when you hear that from the people upstairs that just like they're rooting for you and they're excited to have you. So he's been very good at warm welcomes, and it's been really nice.
That was the first thing that hit me in the beginning of the live. I'm like, to start a series of this magnitude, and I love it. It's faith, it's family, it's love,
Yeah.
it's like everything right now that we need in the world. And then,
Hmm.
just like you just said, to have somebody with that much support be
Yeah.
behind all of you in this
Yeah.
project, it's like
Yeah.
the cherry on the sundae.
Oh, 100%. It's really, really awesome because you don't always get, not that I've had experiences where the higher ups like aren't necessarily supportive, but it's just really nice to hear the words of encouragement as you go. Like it just really does mean a lot. So we're very grateful that he's very hands-on. We were so sad. We missed him yesterday. His flight kept getting delayed and delayed. And so it was either, be in the air when we're like starting to do live stream, or he had to turn around and go back so he could be settled by the time we started. But it was a bummer not to see him because he's always very kind.
And I got Kate coming up the end of the weekend. I love her because I feel like we can all relate to Maggie.
Mhm.
And like I said, I can't wait to see her relationship panned out with James. But I feel like Kate playing Aunt Amy just like ties it all in. It's she's like the matriarch, and I think from what I can see, I don't know how it was for you playing Maggie, to have an actress of that caliber to play such a role like that. It had to be bring all of you guys together on screen.
Oh, I think she plays matriarch so well. And I learned yesterday watching the live that she was a teacher and that she didn't come to acting until later in her life. And I was actually blown away because I think she's such a powerhouse actress. I remember the first scene I saw with her and I was like, oh, Kate's really good because I hadn't watched any of her other things before. So I was new to Kate. And yeah, I was just like, oh, she's so grounded and she has such a dynamic range, and she plays so much in each moment where she can play strength with such a caring heart. And I think that that's not something that everybody can do, or something that everyone can even be in their real life, because that's a challenge in and of itself. So the fact that she plays it so well is just a testament to her and her talent and who she is as a person. So I feel very lucky to have Kate with this, and I hope her and I get to have more scenes together. So yeah, she's been great.
That's what I was going to say. Is Maggie going to be around, you know, her a lot in the series, or not too many spoilers? Don't want to get the higher ups upset.
Yeah. No, it's interesting because I think at least in the 6 episodes we shot so far, like Maggie's domain starts out like she's just at the cafe and this is like her domain. Everybody kind of comes to her when it comes to interacting with other characters. And then she starts to venture out later in this season of what we shot so far. So I'm very curious in these next 4 episodes we're about to shoot, what she gets up to, because we didn't know we were doing 4 more until a few days ago. So yeah,
I
it's exciting.
literally, when Bill announced it, he was like, and Cameron and him were going back and forth. I'm like, all right, just spill it. What is it?
Spill the beans.
What is it?
Yeah.
You want me to tell?
Yeah.
No, do you want me to tell? And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
because like I was saying, Jonathan and I were talking. I said, I really do hope, this series comes for a season two, but it's like there's more, there's so much heart and there's so much love in this series. And I think what I loved the most was for you to be in a cafe, which I'd be like, score, be
Yeah.
around like coffee and,
Totally.
but I feel like there's so many facets that we're gonna see of
Hmm.
Maggie. And,
Hmm.
I want to, I guess, ask you, did you, in this process of these 6 episodes, did you learn about yourself being, in this position, being an actress? Did you learn more about yourself, kind of navigating and learning more about her?
Oh, interesting. I think there's something to learn from every character you play because you bring out a part of yourself. Like boyfriend and I joke because I have so many different personalities that come out, and he's like, "Oh, it's just the People's Republic of Brittany Underwood," because I'm just constantly a different person. But it's because like I don't know, I just am all of these different aspects, and I have my this side and my that side, and so tapping into a different character, it's more just kind of like picking one off the shelf and kind of fine tuning and seeing what that brings about. But it was interesting to have like a new dynamic with Jonathan, I'll say, because we had done the whole meet cute with Prince and civilian, if you will, those moments. So to have this be more of like, oh, hey, we come from the same grassroots and this is our dynamic where before it's like Prince and girl who's like, oh, he's like royalty and I'm just a commoner. Whereas this is like we understand each other and it's more about the commonality. So that was just an interesting dynamic to play that was different for us. But I think that as the series goes, it will bring out more and more, and that will be like the sculpting process of Maggie, and that sculpting process always brings out new things for me as well. So I'm excited for that.
And I think too, because it just hit me as you're talking, it's like you and Jonathan have been doing this. And I mean, it's an involvement of all the cast on set. But between you and Jonathan, it's like you guys have grown together in this thing of acting. And I love it. I'm like, perfect. They've done the Prince, they've done this. Now they're gonna do Maggie and James. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
but like I said, my family and I were talking last night, and I'm like, because they try to ask, I'm like, I don't know. And what I do know, they're not gonna give me like major spoilers.
yeah.
But even like my aunt was saying, she goes, she said, Brittany just seems like she's so down to earth. And Aunt Kim, I said, in this process, I said, I've gotten to know her. And she goes, then she started rambling off. She was like, didn't she play that one on the light? I said, yes, she's played the crazy parts.
Yeah.
Because my aunt is worse than me when it comes to watching Lifetime. She goes, didn't she play that psycho that? I said, yes, the poison, the cupcakes. Yeah, I said,
Yeah, the cupcake. That was so funny. The last time we went to Buffalo, for some reason, that had just aired. So it was like, and I was with the guy, the last movie Jonathan and I did together. The guy who played, oh no, it wasn't his butler, but one of that like type of roles was my fiance in the Cupcake Killer movie. So him and I were in Buffalo shooting another Christmas movie, and people were going like, "Oh my God," because I hadn't like even been in the same room with Cameron in like I don't know how many years, but that was really funny. It was such a fun one. I like playing the psychos because they're just like, I don't know what it is. They're just so unhinged and crazy. And like, that's the most like pretend, pull something out of somewhere. And, Jesse put it perfectly. When he was talking about playing the bad guy is like hurt people hurt people. And so there's something that's super interesting about the psychoanalysis of a character that's a villain of like why. And Helena, the character of the cupcake killer, like she was so desperate to find her sister and her family. So I
mm,
really like when you can find the relatable aspect of a villain of like why did they act that way, because nobody who's like happy content everything's going well in their lives chooses to disrupt others or to harm others. So it's like when you look at that and you look at these villains as like a wounded puppy, it's like I don't know, it's a different mentality to look at them, and I love being able to relate to at least the reason why somebody goes evil, because then once you can understand your enemy, you can like navigate them a little more. So in my real life, when people are, not nice with me or mean to me in some way, once I calm down from the initial reaction of like getting upset about it, I do try to have my like, okay, but why did they act that way? Where are they coming from? What made them so upset that they acted this way towards me? Like, do they really just need someone to say, like, hey, I understand where you're coming from? And I've been able to turn around some like relationships on set where they don't start out so great. And then I'm like, okay, they're just feeling, maybe like they weren't getting enough acknowledgement for this, or they were feeling unappreciated, or they were feeling misunderstood or whatever. And then once I'm able to have that kind of like realization, I can reapproach it and be like, hey, I think maybe this was going on. Do you want to start over? And that's always a fun thing to be able to start over with someone. So it takes being able to get into that mindset, which is the fun part of playing a villain. Like, what is their core wound, we call it. So,
You know what it is, and I have to say it because I wanted to touch on this. You and Jonathan are probably like my top two that I'm like, I can watch you both play a villain, especially him with the doctor with two faces. Yeah, and my mom's like, what are you watching? And I'm like, and I said, I said, between him and between you, there's such a dynamic. And I think that's the part that a lot of us don't see the underlining of it. It's nice to play the soft and sweet and romantic parts. But when you get down and really down into these dark characters, I have to give you major kudos because you both. I mean, I could watch you poisoning people and I'm like, damn, she's like, I still keep watching. And just major kudos. I mean, you're
oh, thank
unbelievable
you.
talent wise to do that.
Thank you. That's very sweet. Thank you.
Well, I have to get back with Maggie because I wanted to touch on, for you doing these 6 episodes. And we don't want to make Bill not happy, but not too many spoilers. But did you have favorite moments in these 6 episodes, with playing her?
Yeah. And actually, I think I can say this without giving anything away. Um, the last moment my character has on screen in the 6 episodes we shot, I think was my favorite.
Okay. I'm
So
gonna
you
have
have to get all the way to the end to find out what that is.
Brittany. I thought we were friends. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, no, no. I mean, there's a lot of sweet moments. But I think just naturally as you progress in the journey of these characters, moments get more and more special. So I think it just makes sense that the most special moment and the one that was my favorite to play. And also we can talk about that. You know what? After the 6 episodes air, well, let's have this conversation again because I want to explain to you what the circumstances were that was surrounding us shooting those final moments of the what we thought was the end of our season and what actually happened in real life between Jonathan and I that colored that exact moment on set. And I
Mm.
can't wait to tell you about it, but I can't right now.
Well, we're penciling it in. At the end of
Yes,
these 6 episodes, I'm
yes.
getting both of you on because I want to. Now you got me intrigued now, and
Oh, yeah. Okay. That'd be great.
you know, it's it's a testament to do a show of this magnitude because I feel like it hits on everything real and
Yeah.
that's going on in the world, and I love it too because even Jesse playing, the bad guy trying to take over, the ranch. I feel like there was now that you say it, I feel like there was so much growth with all of you guys. And
Yeah.
can't wait to, obviously see that pan out in these 6 episodes. Hopefully 7 to 10 come fast.
Yeah. I know. I'm so curious what that schedule is going to be like if there is going to be any pause in the airing. I think we have enough that it won't, but I don't know. I don't know whether it's going to be like okay, the first 6 and then 2 weeks off and then the rest or I don't know. But yeah, no, it was great. I mean, I said this yesterday when we were just watching clips with Jesse. Like, Jesse is really good at playing the charismatic bad guy. And it's because he has that mentality of like, what is his actual driving force that is human, relatable, and
Mhm.
motivated by something that isn't evil, you know? Um, And so I think he's like the perfect actor to be playing something where it causes enough friction, but I don't think he's necessarily evil. I mean, we'll see how he progresses as the show goes on, but I think for now it's just like, they're just on different sides of the fence and they each have their different reasons for acting the way they do. And yeah, I really, really like him as the opposing factor in our show.
Now, was this a real ranch that you guys were on?
Oh yeah, I mean, I didn't do any of the ranch scenes, but I remember them being like, yeah, we're going out to the cattle and there are ranches up there in Canada. So, yeah, I mean, that's the other thing that I so love about the show is how beautiful the landscapes are. Like I was watching it and I was just like, oh, this is so pretty. Like even when we were watching the screeners, I would pause and I'd be like, babe, 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 like to my boyfriend, I'd be like, come over, look at how beautiful this is. And so I think it's just like for me, the characters and their interactions, but also the cinematography and also the music. Like there's this one scene in episode 1 where we're first introduced to the barn and it's so majestic and celestial and divine, honestly. And I didn't think I'd ever really say that about a barn, even though this was originally called Cowboy Church and it's all about that. But just I would say, the feeling that they're able to capture in that moment. Um, when you first see James in the barn, there's a song that plays and a moment that happens in season 1 or in episode 1. And when that first moment happens, I remember getting like a little misty eyed and I was like, oh, I get how special this show is going to be because that moment just like hit me. And I feel like so many people will just be able to relate to whatever happens in that moment.
And that's the part I was talking to Franco on originally, and I said that was the first thing that emulated for me. It was like the aspect of faith, the aspect
Hmm.
of family, the aspect of love. But kudos to the producers and the writers because you can feel that emotion, and it's the
Yeah.
truest. I feel it the truest humanistic emotion,
Yeah.
and it's. I'm telling you, I said it to Franco and I said it to Jonathan. Now I say it to you. I feel like this is going to be around for so long, this show, because I feel like everybody needs it.
Oh,
Everybody wants to see something like this because you don't see, you almost feel isolated if you're going through something. And it's like, okay, Maggie has these feelings for James. This may be something that I've dealt with before. And you take a piece of peace away from it, if it makes sense.
yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's exactly right, is the show will have something for everybody, and that is what we've been missing in content these days. Everything is about like, oh, let's do something topical or political or, pick a side and run with it. And I think just everyone will be able to just relax watching this, enjoy it in the same way that we used to enjoy watching like Seventh Heaven. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just it's just one of those like feel good family dynamics where they're not perfect and they don't pretend to be, and you get to peek behind the curtains of how they resolve their issues and navigate their differences, and at the same time being able to connect with whatever it is that you believe in, and letting that fuel your experience. But I think it'll be just a really nice relaxing watch for everybody.
Well, I have to touch base because all of my family, they couldn't believe. I want to give you like a moment because my aunt goes, she started acting that young. I'm like, yeah, aunt, she did. So I want to give you time to kind of just tell us all, for those who don't know, how you
Yeah.
got into acting.
Oh, yeah, I was 16 and it was right around the time where it was like, okay, you have to figure out what you're going to college for. And I remember I was thinking about it and I was like, well, my dream has always been to be a performer because I started acting when I was like 7 on stage. And so I loved that so much. I was always in plays and singing in the town and at church and all those things. And then when that came time, I was like, well, that's my dream is to be a performer. But the reality and like the grounded, most likely scenario, I would want to be a science teacher. My dad's a computer programmer. I come from a family of like nerds and like very brainy people. And I just love science and I love teaching. I love helping people kind of get from wherever they're at and helping them, get to the other side. So that was where I was like, okay, that's probably what I'm going to do. But I needed a sign. So I was asking for a sign. Um, and the next day I heard an advertisement on the radio that was like, have you ever wanted to be on TV? Have you ever wanted to be on shows like this or shows like this? And I was like getting my hair done, like doing my hair. I was like, what? I was like, yes. They were like,
Mhm.
okay, come to this place. And it was like an open call for an acting seminar of like, it was called Breaking into Hollywood. So I went with my parents and you had to audition to get in and they accepted me and it was like all about the business. And then at the end, they had a showcase with Abrams, which is a talent agency, and the assistant casting director to One Life to Live was there as well. So I read for, these casting directors and these agents, and I immediately got signed with Abrams, and the casting director for One Life to Live called me in within a few weeks, and that's kind of just how it started. I booked Law and Order was my first gig. And then, yeah, I would say a few weeks later, I auditioned for One Life to Live. So I was just guest star. I was just day playing that when I first got on that show. It was possible reoccurring. Then they kept bringing me back, bringing me back. And then when I did the play with Meryl Streep, the schedules conflicted. So my very smart manager told the soap opera, well, if you want her so bad, make her a contract. And so they were
Mm.
like, okay. So I got offered a contract after I already got accepted into college. So I was like, do I do this or do I drop out of school and just go full time? And I was like, no, I'm just going to do both. So I went to college while I was on the soap and it all worked out. That's how I
And
started.
look at you. Look at you. Fast forward, you little
Yeah.
rock star.
Thank you.
And I have to give you a moment because some do not know you do in the front of the camera, but you also do behind the camera.
I
Tell us about it.
do. I do. I was in a few of these and TV movies, and I had worked with a lot of different directors, some that I thought, absolutely understood the task at hand and knew how to navigate that, and others that I saw, were very talented, but maybe didn't have the eye for shooting on this type of schedule, which is crazy. Like it is sprinting a marathon to try and accomplish these movies. And so I was like, well, I'd like to take a stab at it. Like, what do I need to do? And I talked to a producer that I had been in a few movies for. And he was like, yeah, no, that company really liked working with first time female directors and kind of helping them get their start. So I talked to the producer and he said, yeah, let's just have you shadow a few movies. I had also been working with a director as an actress who taught directing. And he was like, you should you should start thinking about directing. And I was like, really? Okay. So that like planted the first seed, like my second movie. Um, and then a few years later was when I started like really thinking about it. Like, okay, maybe this is something I could do. Maybe this is something I would enjoy doing. And then, yeah, I started doing it and I fell in love with it. And that's how I met Jonathan, is I directed him in 2 movies and then they started putting us together. It's how I met my boyfriend. My boyfriend was in 2 of my movies when I was directing before we started dating. And yeah, I just meet really great people along the way in all aspects of filmmaking. And now I'm writing. So I love, creating uh, creating stories, telling stories. I just love all of it. I'm so obsessed with this world.
It has to be so much on the other side of the camera. There has to be, it's like, to
Yeah.
me, it would be like lightning speed.
Yeah. I'm literally like a crazy person when I'm on set. I'm like, okay, I need this here, but because I'm trying to make it more elevated than just like, okay, we'll have our wide and then we'll do over, punch in, punch in. Like for me, I want it to look like it had more time and more money to make it get done. So in order to do that, sometimes you got to go crazy mode, and that's just what needs to happen. But luckily, I work with rock star humans who can keep up and are down to, you know, answer the task at hand. And the last movie I did, my DP was like matching my energy, and I get really excited about shots. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. We can just do this and we can do that. And so I finally had a DP who would just get just as excited as I did, like a little kid, about like, oh, this would be really cool. This would be really cool. And it was nice because we got so many compliments working together. Like when we had our wrap party, and even as we would go, people would just come up to us and be like, it's really fun to watch you guys create, because when you have that energetic flow with somebody, I think it's really nice to watch. Like, I think that's how Jonathan and I are too, is like we get excited about things. And the way I was with my last DP, it was just like, it should feel that good. It should feel like you're tapping into your inner child and living in the land of make believe, because that's what it takes. Like, we all are natural born storytellers. When we grow up and we're little, we all play pretend. Oh, I'm the princess in the castle and my prince is coming, is like, that's what we are wired to do as kids. And then we get bogged down by the everyday life, you know, drama, and that chisels away at our creativity, which is our connection with our inner child. So when you can tap back into that, it should feel like you're a little kid. And I remember Taika Waititi talked about that, of how much he is a little kid with his excitement level of creating and filmmaking. And I'm like, yeah, that is exactly how it should be. That's how I feel when I'm in my prime and my happiness on set, is I feel like a little kid.
All right. I know you probably can't say a lot, but the most recent, do we know like when the new stuff will be coming out?
Uh, the new stuff of Crossroads.
No, your other projects.
Oh, my other project. Well, I have a few coming out right now. I have two Christmas movies, one with Jonathan and one with my boyfriend. So two Christmas movies coming out this Christmas, which will be fun. And then the last movie that I wrote and directed will hopefully be coming out this year. It was called In Her Sleep, and I don't know what it's going to air as, but that was a big milestone for me, to direct my first feature writing that I wrote with a friend of mine who's extremely talented and such a good writing partner. And then this last movie that I did was about like a high school reunion, class of 99. So we got to go like retros, 90s. Um, and I think, and then Crossroads Springs. So those are the projects I have coming out this year or early next year. So
Look at you, rock star.
yeah.
Writing, directing, starring.
Very grateful to be busy in this town. So
And I love it too. I have to touch on it. I love that you have a partner also that
yeah,
is in the business. So it's like
yeah.
you both support each other.
Yeah. No, it's really nice to finally have someone who completely understands like what I need to go through, and like at least in the actor side. Um, so it's just been interesting to be able to relate in that way with a partner, because I've never dated an actor before. So it's a good first time.
You guys are too stinking adorable. I love when you guys post
Thank
photos together. I'm like,
Ah,
you're so cute.
thank you. Yeah, it's been really fun. And the fact that we get to work together is really nice. That's something new for me. So it's been really fun.
I love it too because he's like a sounding board.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because he can understand where I'm coming from. Even when I do talk about directing things, like he knows enough to be able to have good conversations with about that. So
Okay, I'm gonna
yeah.
have to make a note. Got to get the both of you on my show.
Yes.
And Jonathan, again, I can't wait for see what this Christmas movie is all about. Now, you guys
Yeah.
make sounds so good. Oh,
It's
honey,
really cute. That one's about an animal shelter, so that'll be really cute.
no, see, I would get fired on set because if it has to do with any bit of animals that are on, they'll be like, "Where is she? I'm over here playing. I'm over here playing with the dogs."
It was really hard not to get so distracted because there were so many cute ones. We were just like, we just want to play. Oh, our AD adopted one of the cats. Yes, the one that is in the scene. Okay, when you watch the Christmas movie, there's a cat that I like showed to the prince. That one found a home with our AD while we were filming. It was so sweet and special. I'm so happy that happened. Yeah,
Oh, yay.
yeah,
I love stories like that.
it was
My
really
sister
sweet.
does a lot of rescuing. I have one furry niece right now. They think about 10 or 11, but she's a pit bull mix. And
Oh,
I love it. I love hearing good stories like that.
yeah, it was really nice.
Oh, honey, congratulations from
Oh,
the writer, the director, the Maggie to Crossroads Springs. I'm so joyful and so happy for
oh,
you that all of this is happening. You so deserve it 110%.
thank you.
And I'm really congrats. You
Thank
know I
you.
love you from the bottom of my heart and I adore you.
Love you too. Thank you so much. I always love coming on and chatting with you. And thank you for being so supportive along the way. And Jonathan and I just really appreciate your support. So thank you.
Always, honey, always. And I'm making a point. After episode 6, I'm getting the both of you on because I want to know I
Yes.
want to know. Now you got me. What's going to happen?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's really cute.
No, seriously, honey, have a beautiful rest of your day. And this is not the last time. We will be catching up
No,
again.
absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Donna. Thanks for having me.
Always, honey. Take care.
All right. Bye.